One of the stocks that surprised a lot of people in 2024 is Disney. Over the past year, shares are up about 27% as I'm recording. Since their low in August, shares are up close to 50%. Now, this is not something that's just Disney riding the broader market. That's largely driven by growth stocks and tech stocks, artificial intelligence stories, things like that. Most media companies are not doing particularly well right now either. So what is Disney doing right that other companies aren't getting right in the same space? If you've been following this channel for a while, you know that I've been talking about Disney as one of the leaders in streaming because they're going to be able to bring together their branded content, so Pixar, Star Wars, Marvel, all of the content that you know from Disney, general entertainment with Hulu, and then sports. That's actually not really going to come into the Disney Plus bundle until 2025. But that is coming, and I think that's going to make this a juggernaut in streaming. But the better news more recently is that their movies are doing extremely well. 2024 was a phenomenal year for Disney, and they have more coming in 2025. So I want to dig through exactly what we know about their performance this year and what's coming up next year. My name is Travis Hoium. Thanks for watching Asymmetric Investing. Please subscribe here on YouTube for all my content. And thanks to this video sponsor, The Motley Fool. If you go to fool.com/ASYM, they'll give you their top 10 stocks to buy right now. So let's look at the latest data from the box office and how Disney is dominating the year. This is from Box Office Mojo, and you can see here Inside Out, by far the biggest movie of the year. These are just domestic numbers. I'll click into some of the overall numbers in just a second, but $653 million domestically. Deadpool and Wolverine at $637 million. But take a look at this one right here, Moana 2. This came out less than a week ago. It's already number 8 for the year, $231 million. So let's show just how big these are. Inside Out 2, $1.7 billion worldwide. That is just a phenomenal number, especially from a kid's movie. Deadpool and Wolverine, also kind of a niche audience, $1.34 billion worldwide. And Moana 2 is already at $405 million worldwide. We'll see how these things play out, but you can see that just a huge weekend. A lot of kids were off Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday last week for Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving Day, obviously down a little bit, but Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, just phenomenal days for this movie at over $50 million. Those are all domestic numbers. It's very possible that this is going to be another billion-dollar movie for Disney at the box office. And this is not what has happened recently for Disney. This is last year's best movie, Guardians of the Galaxy. They didn't even crack $1 billion worldwide. Avatar: The Way of Water, that did crack $2 billion actually, but that came out late in 2022. So that revenue is going to be split between the 2 years. But that's another huge movie and a franchise that does typically very well for Disney. Came over with that Fox acquisition. But let's go through why this is so important for Disney's bottom line. So in their financial statements, their movie segment, the studio segment, is now included in entertainment. It used to be broken off into its own business. That's not the case anymore. So you're starting to see an impact in the Q4 numbers. This is fiscal Q4 2024. That would be the calendar third quarter of 2024. But revenue is up to $2.6 billion, and that was driven by those two movies I talked about earlier, Inside Out 2 and Deadpool and Wolverine. But Disney is a company that I like to think of as a waterfall. Everything about their business starts in the box office. If they have box office hits year after year, they're going to be able to turn that into revenue from their linear networks, into revenue from their direct to consumer, so their streaming products, and then products that are going to end up in their parks. There's lots of different ways that they're going to be able to monetize all these products, but they have to make good content to start with. If you have really bad movies, if nobody remembers the characters from your movies, they're not going to make it into parks. People aren't going to sign up for your streaming service for them. So that's why these are such a big deal. Inside Out 2, Deadpool and Wolverine, we probably haven't seen a lot of the impact, particularly from Deadpool and Wolverine on the streaming service that just came out. But when you start to look at the growth that we've had in Disney Plus domestic and international subscribers, up 9.5 million domestically over the past year, part of that is better content on the streaming service. You need to have content that not only fills people's time, but also content that draws them into the service to begin with. A movie like Inside Out is going to do that. A movie like Deadpool and Wolverine is going to do that. And then once you get into the ecosystem, then you potentially stay. That's where you have churn mitigation. That's where all the content that is on all of these services is so important. But you have to have that draw. And these movies are draws to these services. Management has talked about this. Other companies have talked about the exact same thing. The big headline item, whether that's a huge movie or an NFL game or the Olympics, That's what pulls people in really big numbers. That's why this is so important for Disney to get their mojo back at the box office. And it appears they've done just that. But it's not just about this year, it's about maintaining the momentum over the next few years. So let's look at what's ahead. Thanks to our friends at The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/ASYM for the top 10 stocks to buy right now. This is their upcoming theatrical releases. This goes through the end of 2025. You already have Moana 2 that's come out. Mufasa the Lion King is going to be out later this year. That's one of those live action movies. Don't think that's going to be a particularly big movie for Disney, but we'll see how that one goes. Captain America, A Brave New World. New Captain America there. So not the same legacy stars being brought in, but Anthony Mackie has been part of the franchise for quite a while. So that will likely be a pretty big movie as a Marvel movie. Disney's Snow White, again, another live action. So we'll see how that one goes. And then you have Thunderbolts, Lilo and Stitch, Elio, Fantastic Four, Tron, and Zootopia 2 ahead of the end of the year, which is Avatar, Fire and Ash. I think you look at that lineup and there's at least a chance that 3, 4, maybe 5 of those movies are going to be billion-dollar movies again for Disney. Maybe not quite the same obvious hits that you have with something like Moana or even Inside Out, but Avatar. If Avatar does $2 billion at the box office, which I think it likely will, Zootopia, probably in that Inside Out category. This is set up to be another really big year for Disney at the box office. So it seems like they've kind of got their things together a little bit better at Disney. That's going to be a part of this waterfall that's really going to help the business in 2024 and 2025. And obviously later next year, that's when ESPN goes over the top. That's going to bring in another set of customers into that Disney bundle. I think that's when you're going to see the financials from that really take a step forward. And that really, I think, could be the end of cable at the end of the day. As big as these movies have been, the box office and movies themselves are not actually the huge profit driver for Disney. They're just really what stirs the drink for the business overall. So you got to have these really great movies that are going to draw customers in, and then you can monetize them through your linear networks, through your streaming service. You can license them to other streamers. You can sell toys. You can attract people to theme parks, all kinds of other ways. And that's beyond the box office. But the box office is really what keeps you relevant in the media business. I think Disney has done a phenomenal job of that in 2024. 2025, maybe not the same obvious hits, but I do think it's going to be another pretty good year for Disney. And so the momentum is going to keep going. And I don't see any of their competitors really taking that mantle as particularly the leaders in animation. So I think we see Disney Plus, the Disney Plus bundle, continue to get stronger and stronger throughout the year. And that's ultimately what I'm looking for to drive the stock long term, because I think that's where ultimately the most value is going to be unlocked. So I think Disney has this mojo back. The market is obviously seeing that with the results recently, and we see those subscriber numbers continue to tick higher and higher. Even as prices go higher and higher, that's going to be a great sign for Disney's business long term. But let me know what you think about Disney and their position today. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to Asymmetric Investing. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you here next time.